Dun, 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 dun. Travis, it has finally arrived. The game I've been waiting for. It's not World Series Game 2. It's Paul George versus the Indiana Pacers. Are you pumped?
Sweet justice. Let's get into it.
What's up, everyone? We're back here at the Sports Trigger. Travis, it's Paul George, the guy who just kind of took off from the Pacers, our beloved Pacers, put us in a horrible spot in trying to trade them. Now they're playing us. What is going through your mind right now?
There's a lot going through my mind, and honestly, I wish it was a home game. It'd be so much better if it was a home game against Paul George, but that time will come eventually. But, a lot of different things, obviously, as we've talked about many, many times. I appreciate all the things that he did while he was a Pacer, but the rough stretch, the end of his career with the Pacers, really lead me to where I don't like him anymore. I can't stand him. I understand his reasoning to a certain extent, but still, he left the Pacers high and dry. You want to win a championship, build one here in Indiana. Don't go and be a super team just like all these other players are doing. So I think tonight's going to be sweet justice. I know they're playing at OKC.
Back-to-back, too. It's tough.
Yeah, back-to-back. It's very tough. No Miles Turner going tonight either. But you know what? OKC's 1-2 this year. Pacers are 2-2.
Yeah, not so super so far.
No, and you know what? They have played like opponents. OKC's played at home against Minnesota, and they lost on a buzzer beater.
That's true.
The Pacers played not too long ago. Pacers played at Minnesota last night, and they just destroyed them. They destroyed
130. Put up 130 on them.
I do not care if they have Jimmy Butler or not.
Tibbs was probably at home crying last night. Probably soaking his fingers
was
up in those oysters. You can get some good oysters, or he went to 7 Steakhouse up in Minneapolis. And that's probably what he did after the game, because he was just so disappointed. 130 points to the Pacers. And you know what? Westbrook's struggling so far to figure out how to – he's passing the ball to there, but his scoring hasn't come along with it. He's still figuring it out. Paul George is actually shooting not very well at all right now. I think he's shooting at least under 45%. I know that. I think it was more around the 40% mark, maybe even a little lower. Carmelo is probably the one feasting the best because he's just in a shooting role, in general. But the Pacers are scrappy, and they know this means something. I think they know this means something to Indiana. And
especially those players that are left on the Pacers team that were there last year.
Right.
I definitely agree with that.
Right. Hey, Pacers are undefeated against their former players from last year right now. Because Teague's over at Minnesota. So they got through him. And now you got PG coming up. If the Pacers can barrel through them, then, we're going to have a gritty team this year. A very gritty team. They're shooting the ball far better than I thought they were going to this year. And that's without Miles Turner for the last few games. Tonight's going to be tough. It's back-to-back. At OKC, after Minnesota. I don't know if we're going to be able to get a victory tonight, but you know what? I think the thing that could help is PG could come out and try and have a great game. Right. He might come out just firing. And
try to be solo.
If he continues the way he's been shooting, I think that could give the Pacers a great shot at staying in this game.
Yes.
So I think, if you get in a little bit of that, the Pacers are sitting solid. If the Pacers, if they can put up 110 plus in this game, they definitely have a chance. It's going to be interesting, but I don't know. My feelings are, Pacers have a better record through 4 games. That's awesome. Paul George hasn't been shooting it phenomenally, but mixed emotions on this one. I don't hate Paul George as a person. And, yeah, he did some good things for Indiana was there, but he's overrated. My whole thing is he is absolutely overrated.
All-star, not a superstar.
Yeah, not a superstar. I mean, he didn't even make the All-NBA team when he was on the Pacers, when the Pacers supposedly didn't have anybody around him. And that was his whole complaint. So if you can't put up stats like that, then you know what? Yeah, get out of here. Get out of here. So you know what? So far, the Pacers have looked better on offense this year than they did all of last year.
Who needs defense, too? Who needs defense in this league, right? Throw it out.
Get it out of here.
This is, and the funny thing is, this is the type of offense that the Pacers were looking to transform to as far as up and down. They caused turnovers. Oh my gosh, the first game was amazing with the turnovers and fast breaks. And something that you pointed out to me the other night is that with Paul George gone, it seems like they're not just, he's not dribbling the air out of the ball. Now they're moving the ball. It's not going to go to one specific person. And that's why they're scoring so much, because they keep moving the ball. They find the open person. It's not always about PG.
Six, so that's 7 guys in double figures. That's what they're getting some of these
impressive.
Nights.
They're getting great looks. And, for that reason, I am going to go on record and say that the Pacers have a better record, or I should say finished with a better record than the Thunder.
Oh, wow.
I think, you know what?
In the East, they do have a great shot. And to be honest, you know what? I didn't have high hopes for them coming into this year. The way that I know this is still way early in the thing, but they've looked good enough to give me hope in the East that they could be a playoff team this year. And maybe we're jumping the gun, but they haven't had Miles Turner early on, and they've looked good. They've looked good.
That's a great point too. I was going to bring that up to where when they haven't had Miles Turner, last game, no Miles Turner put up 130 points. I mean, that's pretty amazing. And when you add Miles Turner back, then that's more of a defensive presence down low. So
at least somebody down low. I'm not going to don him a great defensive player by any means.
But better than what we have without him.
Better than somehow we beat a team with Karl Anthony Towns without any legit, guy of any resemblance of a player down there. I've been beyond, and maybe as it turns out, but all the NBA pundits, everybody had the Pacers in like the bottom 5.
Right.
It is like the bottom 5 of the whole NBA, and now you know what? If they make the playoffs, there'll be part of me that's like, okay, we need to sign somebody better. But then again, maybe we're building a more complete roster, and with people who want to be in Indiana and play. And I'm fine with that. I think Depot wants to be there. He loves Indiana. He played his college ball there. He gets to shine. And you know what? We might have a hidden gem. Maybe this is his breakout year, which would be
seems
awesome.
like it.
That would be awesome because no one was kind of expecting they're like, oh, Oladipo is good. But if he has a breakout year this year and Miles Turner keeps, a double-double machine, and then Collison, people forget that Collison played great for Indiana there for a few years when they were starting to become more competitive. He's a decent defender, but he can dish, and I think
good pickup.
And he's a decent 3-point shooter by percentage. He doesn't shoot a lot of them, but he's a decent shooter. So you know what? Like, props to the Pacers. Maybe they're going to sneak out there. More people should go watch them because they're going to give their effort every night too.
And the Pacers remind me of currently the Nuggets. The Nuggets, there aren't really any huge name players on the team. I believe they have a decently known center or power forward, but aside from that, a lot of young players. Not all the Pacers players are necessarily all young, but a lot of players that not many people know about.
We picked up a 37-year-old.
Whatever. Well, that's Larry Legend for you. One of his last moves before he had to leave the bird nest. Yeah. But it's just a team, like you said, very gritty, hardworking. Yes, obviously the defense isn't there yet, but in this league, as long as you can score, that's really all that matters. As long as they score more than the other team, I could care less how their defense turns out. You
sent me the text. You said you put some money down on them to win the East, and you said, who cares about defense? We're throwing it out as long as they score more points than their team. And you know what? That's what basketball ultimately gets down to. So, rock on Pacers. Thanks a lot for joining us on an episode of the Sports Trigger, and suck it, Paul George.
Suck it, Paul George.
Next time.